The moment I saw Darla Jenkins leap over the HOA pool gate in a sequined gold swimsuit, bolt cutters in one hand and a half-empty bottle of champagne in the other, I knew we had officially crossed the line from suburban drama into outright madness. She strutted in like she was kicking off the Summer Olympics, hollering, "Freedom, darlings," like she'd just liberated the block from tyranny. That wasn't the first time she'd broken the rules, not by a long shot. But it was the first time she did it that boldly, that publicly, like she was daring anyone to stop her. I stood there across the street, holding my water testing kit like a sad little shield, watching 30 strangers spill into the pool area dragging coolers, sushi trays, folding chairs, and Bluetooth speakers. I wasn't mad. Not yet. I was stunned. I had warned the HOA board this would happen. I'd sent emails. I'd logged timestamps. I'd even offered to install a simple reservation calendar on the community website. They told me Darla was just misunderstood. She was trying to bring people together. And now she was bringing people together to destroy pH balance and community trust in one swoop. Thing is, I wasn't just a nosy neighbor. I was the volunteer pool tech. I took the job seriously. I'm an environmental systems engineer by trade, and I found the pool fascinating the way it all had to stay in perfect chemical harmony to remain clean, safe, and clear. It was like a living organism. I tested the water weekly, balanced chlorine, backwashed the filters, logged data for the HOA board. Nothing glamorous, but satisfying. In the same way lining up your tools just right in a garage feels satisfying. And now? Now I was watching this woman turn all that into a vodka-splashed rave with floating flamingos and lawn karaoke. I suppose I should have seen it coming. Darla had been a handful since I moved into Crestmont Ridge 2 years ago. She lived 3 doors down in a stucco house the color of a creamsicle, always had a different car in the driveway, sometimes hers, sometimes not, always decorated with fresh seasonal wreaths and flags with phrases like "wine not" or "namaste" in the pool. Her husband left, from what I heard, after her second personal development retreat in Sedona. After that, the backyard party started. Loud, unapproved, glitter everywhere. She called them community energy resets. The HOA called them unauthorized gatherings. I called them noise violations with appetizers. The first time I tried to reason with her, I got the full Darla experience. It was a sunny Saturday, and I had come by to run a chemical check. She was poolside in a floppy sun hat and leopard print robe, sipping from a mason jar like a Southern belle with a hangover. I introduced myself, reminded her of the reservation policy, even offered to help her book for future events. She smiled, patted my shoulder, and said, "Oh, sweetie, you're adorable. We're just harmless little fish." Then she laughed a high, fluting sound that echoed off the stucco and settled into my spine. I reported the incident. Nothing happened. A polite auto-reply from the HOA president, Greg, thanking me for my ongoing stewardship of community standards. The second time she held a party, she cut the HOA lock off the gate and replaced it with a dollar store version that I couldn't open with my key. I had to climb the fence just to access the chlorine tabs, and I ended up getting booed by a group of drunk women who thought I was the pool boy. One even threw a soggy hot dog at me. I sent pictures to Greg. He told me he'd escalate appropriately. Spoiler, he didn't. So when Darla showed up that third time with her bolt cutters and sequin getup, I didn't try to stop her. I didn't call the HOA. I didn't even raise my voice. I went back inside, sat in my garage, and stared at a gallon of experimental polymer gel I'd been working on for a kid's science demo. It was water-soluble, biodegradable, safe for skin, but when exposed to movement and body heat, it clung to synthetic fabric like glitter to a preschooler. It was designed to teach kids about hydrophobic bonding and pH-triggered color change. That night, I realized it had a higher purpose. I modified the formula, tweaked the density, added a delayed-release thickener, and just a pinch of food-grade pigment blue for cold, purple for heat. Then I waited until the HOA closed the pool at 10 p.m., disabled the auto-chlorinator, and poured in the mixture slowly, filtering it through the intake so it would disperse evenly. Took me all night. Wore gloves. Documented everything. Didn't touch the tiles. Didn't touch the walls. Just turned the pool into a very slow science experiment. The next day, Saturday, of course, Darla arrived around noon, like clockwork. She didn't even pretend anymore. She had music blasting before she opened the gate, a friend recording Instagram stories, and a group of women in matching floral swimsuits. Within minutes, they were in the water. First 10, then 15. I watched from my upstairs window, sipping coffee. 10 minutes in, people started tugging at their suits, looking confused. The first screams were from a woman who saw her white bikini turn lavender. Another screamed, "My cover up. It's bleeding." Darla was the last to notice. She twirled, wine glass in hand, and realized her caftan had transformed into a swirling map of indigo and teal. "What the hell is happening?" she shouted. Phones came out. People climbed out of the water like they'd been dipped in tie-dye. One man tripped over a flamingo float and fell face-first onto the deck. Another tried to wash off in the hot tub, which only made it worse. I didn't need to post anything. The internet took care of that. Within hours, Crestmont Pool Gate was trending on local Facebook groups. I knew it wasn't over. Darla wasn't going to go quietly. That night, I cleaned the pool myself, scrubbed every surface, ran fresh water, restored the chemical balance. I filed a full report with Greg and attached photos of the mess and a labeled sample of the polymer. Darla, meanwhile, sent a mass email accusing me of chemical aggression and said I had launched a premeditated textile attack on her social circle. Greg called a meeting. Darla showed up in a white pantsuit and sunglasses, carrying a binder thick enough to use as a seat booster. I brought a flash drive and a laminated copy of the slime's safety profile. When the footage played her cutting the lock, leading guests in, laughing, shouting before the snitch shows up, you could hear a pin drop. Even Greg cracked a smile. The board issued Darla a formal warning and suspended her access to all HOA facilities for 90 days. If she violated the ban, she'd be fined. And if she tampered again, they'd involve law enforcement. You'd think that would be the end. You'd be wrong. Darla launched a PR campaign, flyers, social media posts, even a YouTube video called "The Day My Neighborhood Turned on Me." She knocked on doors, handed out cupcakes with inspirational quotes, and told new neighbors I was a former military chemist. She even filed a grievance with the city, claiming chemical dumping. The city inspector laughed. Literally laughed. Gave me a thumbs up and said the pool was the cleanest he'd tested all year. The real shift happened when neighbors started pushing back. Signs appeared: pool rules matter. No more glitter storms. Respect the chlorine. Janet, a retired librarian who had never spoken above a whisper in her life, laminated a sign that read, "No parties, no padlocks, no exceptions." The teens started calling me the chlorine whisperer. And that summer, we drafted new HOA bylaws with actual teeth. 2 weeks later, Darla tried one last hurrah healing waters pool party, advertised as a celebration of forgiveness and unity. She didn't reserve the pool. She didn't notify the board. She showed up in a white robe, flanked by wine moms, and was met by 2 off-duty officers and a locked gate. When told the pool was off limits, she said, "I guess they're scared of healing." Then she left. No drama. Just the sound of flip-flops slapping in retreat. And that was it. The pool stayed clean. The kids played. Nobody cut any more locks. And as for me, I kept testing the water. Every week. Just like always. Sometimes neighbors stopped by to chat. Once, a kid asked, "Are you really the guy who made the magic pool?" I smiled and said, "Just science, buddy." But deep down I knew. It wasn't about the slime. It was about being heard. About reminding people that rules mean something. That if you ignore every warning, eventually someone's going to find a way to make you listen, even if it takes a little harmless goo. Now I want to hear from you. If this happened in your neighborhood, what would you have done? Was the slime too far? Or was it just the right amount of poetic justice? Drop a comment below, hit like if you've ever had a neighbor like Darla, and don't forget to subscribe if you believe pool parties should come with permission, not bolt cutters.